Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. Really good bye week. A lot of everything, right? Self-scout, healing up, strength and conditioning, competitive reps. A lot of young guys getting reps, as well as our older guys staying sharp and getting more sharp. Recruiting, getting ahead on the opponent, everything, and then some. And certainly getting ready for a very talented, physical, and well-coached Florida State team that's playing at a high level. Statistically in the top 10 in just about every meaningful category. But that being said, questions please.
Mario, you've talked so much over the last couple years about focusing on task at hand, being in the moment. When you're in a rivalry like this, we know what it means for the program, we know what it means, how amped up people get. Just how have you been able to strike that balance of keeping everyone focused, keeping everyone level-headed, but also knowing that there's going to be a lot of that, just a lot of hype, a lot of ampness around it, outside and internally?
Yes, sir. I think the best way always is with honesty and transparency. It's always worked well for us. And it's all about the work anyways. There's not a single bit of noise, hype, not a single member of the audience on TV or in the stadium that's going to be able to make a play one way or the other. It'll be determined by those that are on the field, playing and coaching. So I think that's something that our guys digest really, really well and understand well, and so we're focused on making sure that we can do our job to the best of our ability.
They're playing two different systems year over year on each side of the ball. How have those systems elevated their play this year?
Yeah, they certainly have done a great job enhancing themselves on both sides of the ball. Very unique systems that are very challenging, right? From the use of personnel to the tempo to a lot of the they disguise and hide the ball really well. It's hard to find, and there's so many plays that come out of these distinct formations, while making it challenging with both pace, with physicality, and with execution. On defense, they've done a great job just becoming a very physical and aggressive defense with multiple looks on the back end and playing very strong and physical football up front.
Mario, the last 2 weeks, first with USF and then Florida 2 weeks ago. I know you guys mentioned on the radio, but with teams trying to simulate, cadences and snaps. And how have you guys worked on trying to make sure that teams aren't going to be able to take advantage of that going forward?
Certainly, it's something you look around college football, right, week in and week out. Something you want to eliminate. You want to eliminate pre-snap penalties and make sure your communication is on point. I mean, football is football. The trenches get nasty and crazy in there, and everyone's always looking to get an advantage, and you got to deal with whatever comes, right? And so you got to make your communication processes that much more airtight as it relates to getting interfered with and causing you to jump. So we've been working on that. If we see anything that's causing that on the other side that's illegal, we turn it in, but we don't, we got to take care of ourselves. We got to take care of our stuff and not get caught up in all the other nonsense.
Mario, what's it been like watching Mark Fletcher's progression from when he got here two plus years ago to where he's now? What strides specifically this year have you seen him make the biggest growth?
Sure, I think everything. I mean, his approach to the game has always been strong, professional. The physicality that he runs with is a byproduct of what he is naturally gifted at, being a great running back, but also the fact that he's been healthy and he's been able to train and really work at it. And he has the benefit of running in a scheme and behind some really hard-working, tough offensive linemen and tight ends. So you love seeing the part of him from a leadership standpoint that has really come out. A vocal guy, a always present guy, an uplifting guy, someone who, you want your own son to grow up to be like him. He's awesome, proud of him, and he'll tell you himself that he's got a lot of improvement to make, and his best football's ahead.
Mario, this rivalry has some deep history. You were part of the 91-92 Rivalry. Are you surprised that people still bring that up when we talk about the Kings and Mills?
We always knew this as the best rivalry in football coming up. As a player, that's, was always a reason why players chose to go to one of the two respective schools. College football is the best sport in the world, so the fact that people bring up, historical moments and whatnot, it's not surprising. I do think that our players, alumni bases, fans, they all understand how intense this rivalry is. But I think our players more importantly understand the importance of practice and preparation, and that's what our focus is on.
Maintaining the edge during a bye week, the edge of your team. What's your approach to that? Do you like an intense bye week, or just in general, what's your approach?
A combination, because as much as we love to practice and prepare, part of preparation for the rest of the season is to get certain guys healed up, and you still provide them with competitive reps so that they can stay sharp. You still have to have good on good. You still have to have your 2-minute drills, your block destruction, your inside runs and whatnot. But you also want to take some of that contact load off some of your players, especially ones that have logged up multiple reps. And at the same time, you want to continue pushing and developing some of the guys that are right there in so many different parts of our football team, offense, defense, and special teams, and putting them in situations where you're just calling football and playing football and letting them go out there and play. You gain yourself almost 100+ reps with those guys. So that was a positive for us this past week, and we do feel that our depth is improving, competitive depth, and that we look forward to seeing some more of these guys seen more.
Mario, with FSU's running game, they've rated out really well. They're doing pretty well to start the year. Obviously, they have a good running back room. Their quarterback can make plays in the running game. Just what have you seen from them on film, and what have been some of their biggest strengths so far in that aspect?
It starts with their offensive line. They're a big physical bunch, real heavy-handed. They're light on their feet. They mix up the tempos. They mix up their formations. They're very versatile. They run it all: power, counter, inside zone, wide zone, toss, everything. Quarterback's a really good runner as well. He's really good at everything that he does. But I think it starts and ends with physicality. They get downhill, they finish runs, they run their feet through contact, and I believe they're number one in total offense, and not by a lot. And a large part of that's because they run the ball really well.
And similarly, you guys have been excellent rushing the quarterback so far this year. Castellanos can make things happen with his feet. How much have you guys plan to put extra emphasis on, taking care of those rushing lanes, making sure that if you do flush him out of the pocket, that he's not going to be able to take off and run for 20 yards?
Yeah, really good football player, makes a lot of things happen. Everybody has to do their job really well.
Mario, you touched on them being top offensive. You guys are one of the top teams in terms of time possession. Just the importance of being able of sustaining drives, keeping the ball in your hands to make sure that you're limiting their opportunities. Just the importance of that going into this weekend.
Execution is at a premium, right? Games like this, one thing that really stands out across the country, I might be a little bit off, but I believe that there were over 20 games that were one-possession games this weekend. And several of them were overtime games as well. That's because conference play has started. And conference play is basically playoff football. Everybody's alive, everybody's vying for a spot. And so the margins for error, the margins between winning and not winning become smaller and smaller. So every part of your preparation and leading up to execution, the details that come with that, they have to be practiced, repped, emphasized, re-emphasized, made airtight as much as humanly possible to give you the best chance for success, because the levels just get more and more difficult. And I think that's the best part of college football at this time of year. You're getting everybody's best and you're giving everybody your best.
You can't duplicate what you're about to experience, or your freshmen are going to experience tonight when they walk in the door, Campbell, and what you see. How do you get a freshman like Bryce Fitzgerald or Malachi to lock in that moment once they actually see it?
Everything we do when we're playing an opponent, we make sure that we give it the absolute best look on Green Tree practice field. And Green Tree, it is our responsibility to make sure that Green Tree simulates or exceeds anywhere we play.
Mario, just your tight ends, just your thoughts on obviously Carson Bennett trying to get the ball a couple times last few games. Just your thoughts on how they've been doing collectively between that and just in their jobs blocking.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Just your tight ends, just your overall thoughts on how they've done during the 4 games. I know they haven't been involved much in the passing game yet, but just your thoughts on what they've been able to do. Obviously, to multiplicity roles.
Sure, yes, sir. They've been a major part of the game plan. Some people have done a good job taking them away. They know we have good playmakers there. They've made, for the most part, what they can out of their opportunities, but they've been instrumental in not only the passing game, but obviously in the running game. You know, and they've been really good on the perimeter as well, on special teams. They're as valuable as any other position on our roster.
And I know, you guys had a lot of faith in Carson Beck and you expect a lot of him in his mentality. This is just the first time after having a rough game. How did you see him bounce back after that? How did he get back to work and try to fix any mistakes he was making last game?
Like we do any game, every single time we go back in there, good or bad, we assess what we did well, what we need to get better at, and we attack it directly with honesty and with transparency, and do our best to coach them to the best level of their ability and challenge them to get the most out of it.
And then I know Samson was banged up in Florida, came back in the game. Just how has he recovered from whatever that was?
One more time.
With Samson, he went out, came back in during the Florida game, but just how did he recover from whatever minor thing I guess was bugging him?
He did well. You know, he got banged up in that game pretty good. Had a great week of just resting, rehabbing, and looks really good. So we expect him to play well.
Can we have an update on Jordan Lyle, JoJo, and Rivalry? The status for this week?
They're all doing well. Same status. They will play at some point in time.
You mentioned, I think last week on the radio, Ahmad Boku maybe doesn't get enough credit for how he's performing. What areas have you seen his growth this year?
I would say his ability to make an impact at the line of scrimmage in the run game, hold his gap better, use of hands, pad level, feet in the ground, ability to take on double teams, and certainly improved a bunch. His ability to create pass rush inside, really collapse a pocket, has improved. Versatility, have played him at the nose, at the 3 technique, the 2 technique, the 2 eye, the 4 eye. He's done a little bit of everything. And his approach to the game has certainly improved. He's at a body weight where he is the leanest he has been, about 300, 305. And so his conditioning levels have improved a bunch, thus playing more plays. There's a lot of improvement and growth in him. And it's been fun. It's been fun watching him grow, and it's been fun challenging him and seeing the response.
I want to ask you about just for an offensive line, the challenge of facing a 3-3-5. What type of challenge does that pose? Is that different type of front?
Sure, communication, identification, right? Certainly, everything starts with understanding who you're blocking and how you're blocking them. So I think anytime you, especially when you go on the road, right, you have to be on the same page. So, they do go back and forth. They're very even in the amount of times they spend in a 4-down front as well as the odd front. The way they use their safeties, they're very active. They're very downhill players. They're excellent tacklers, and they're complemented by some really good cover guys as well. So that's the challenge, is making sure that you have a plan for everything that they've shown this year, plus everything that they've shown in years past at their respective schools.
Anything else?
Okay. Thank you, guys.